Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. So I'm going to explain what the river of change is, and really what the river of change is. How are we going to get from that old, comfortable, familiar state of being to a completely new state of being, the state of being that I desire? A lot of the videos and a lot of what I do, especially this particular video, is inspired by my number one role model, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He wrote the books Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, You Are the Placebo, and Becoming Supernatural. Highly recommend looking into Dr. Joe Dispenza. He is amazing. He takes woo-woo and science and he puts them together, and it's super fun, and I highly recommend it if you kind of like the material I'm bringing. And if you're watching me, you might already know him, but if you don't, check Dr. Joe Dispenza out. Highly recommend. Okay, anyway, going back. River of change. So what we have is homeostasis. Homeostasis maintains equilibrium in our body, meaning everything likes to stay the same. If I am somebody who's used to drinking and smoking and doing drugs and having cigarettes and eating potato chips and going to McDonald's, for example, no shame in any of this, by the way. I'm having compassion for all of us in this moment, okay? So there's no shame. Let's just be in the awareness of what this is, right? There's something going on. There's something that I'm recognizing I continuously do. I know it's not healthy for me. I know it's limiting me, yet I keep doing it. That's homeostasis. The number one job of the subconscious mind is to keep me safe and alive by doing what it thinks it wants me to do. So at some point in my life, I made a decision that this is what I want. Even though it might be bad or unhealthy, the subconscious mind does not care. It wants to keep doing what's comfortable and familiar. Okay, so that's what homeostasis. Homeostasis keeps that solidified, and it is the most powerful force in the human body. I like to use the example, I rather sit in my dirty, nasty ass diaper because at least I know what this one feels like, rather than get a new one, because that is, uncomfortable. Think of your current state. What is something going on in your life that you want to change? Is it your eating habits? Is it smoking? Is it an addiction? Okay, is it wanting to get into a healthier body? Is it more money? Is it becoming more successful? Is it putting yourself out there? Is it becoming more authentic and self-accepting and self-loving? What is something that you want to change? What are the limiting beliefs that come up for you? That is the old state of being. It's really cool to familiarized with what are the thoughts and what are the feelings that keep you in that old state of being. Very, very important. So figure out your thoughts and your feelings that keep you in that old state of being, and figure out, what do you desire? What are the obstacles, the thoughts and the feelings that come up for you when you think about going into that new state of being? The new state of being could be confident, successful, making more money, healthy body, right? Better diet, better exercise. You want to be in a healthy, loving relationship. You want better friends. You want to be more authentic, right? What is something that you desire? You want a better career, okay? So we got to get clear on what is the old state of being we want to leave behind, and what is the new state of being that I'm going to cross this river of change to get to, okay? So what's going to happen is I've decided what my new state of being is going to be. I decided that we're going to focus on addiction right now because that's the best example I can come up with, and I work in a rehab that deals with addiction and mental health diagnosis. So we're going to focus on the addiction. So I want to get sober. I want to be done with this old state of being. I'm tired of it. So I'm going to recognize what are all the thoughts that keep me going back to that drug of choice. My triggers, my anxiety, my depression, my anger, my feeling of helplessness. I'm going to write that all down on all the feelings I come up with, because I want to recognize the small things that happen for me, those little triggering moments, so I can practice self-soothing and giving myself that reassurance and waking up. So that's kind of what it looks like. So I decide. And so what's going to end up happening is I'm going to start becoming mindful. I'm going to start becoming mindful of my thoughts, my feelings, and my behaviors, and I start crossing that river of change. And it's like, all right, cool, I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it. I'm crossing my river of change. I'm eating a little healthy. I'm working out. I'm doing my self-hypnosis meditations. It's all good and everything. And then boom, something happens. And there's this huge pivotal moment, and your mind starts to fuck with you, and your body gets really uncomfortable, uncomfortable and your time feels really pressed and your environment is just fucking with you. Maybe you get that phone call from that one motherfucker that you have been avoiding, or your insurance company is fucking with you, or that relationship starts to blow up, or your parent gets sick, something, or your career, no power in anything I'm about to say, by the way, or your career is like, on the fritz, right? Your money, all of these are very triggering. So your whole body, your whole mind gets into a distortion. I call this the mind fuck. You go into survival mode, you go into primitive brain, and if you're not aware, you're going to go right back to that old state of being, which is that comfort zone. Why does this happen every single time we're about to create a change? Right when I'm about to leave that homeostasis, right when I'm about to create neuroplasticity, right when I'm about to leave behind my neurorigidity, doing the same thing over and over again, which is insanity, and this time I'm choosing to be sane by crossing that river change. Why is it that every time I try to do something, I feel like I sabotage myself and go right back to the old state of being? And what's happening in your brain, we have synapses, and I'll use myself as an example. I struggled with anger for a really long time, and so my river of change was letting go of the idea of self-righteousness and my anger and hurting the people I love with my anger. So my river of change moment was I would feel all that anger and the tension come up, and I would go into that like red, like dialed in, state. And it took time, but I had this point. I'm either going to freak the fuck out and go right back to that old state of being and just tear the shit out of people with my words, or I'm going to breathe through the fiery pits of hell into the abyss until this moment passes. And I'm not going to react to what's happening. I'm just going to breathe and stop. Why did I do that? I just want to say that when the brain is about to get ready to go into that new state of being, it starts to prune those old neuroplasticity. That's painful. Pruning is painful. So it wants to make sure. It wants to make sure that I'm confident and capable to get to that new state of being. So it's going to challenge me to make sure I'm capable to get through it. So I feel all this rage. I feel all this tension. I feel all this anger. And I tell you what, I did go back to that old state of being. I did freak the fuck out. I did have panic attacks. I did get angry. I did tear apart the men that I love, having no idea until I had to practice feeling my rage and not expressing it out of violence. I had to feel that rage and recognize I'm in my river of state moment. Yes, I want to say fuck it. Yes, I want to just tear the shit out of everything, right? But I'm going to practice the discipline of getting into self-control and let this moment pass. Because in that time frame of that pivotal moment when you choose the new state of being of self-control and discipline because I'm worthy of that effort, your neuroplasticity goes, okay, so we're not going to fire and wire those same hardwiring as before. What we're going to do is we're going to prune that old state of being and create new neuroplasticity, and you will get to that new state of being. And then everything gets better. Your lows get higher, your mids get higher, and your highs get higher, right? But what happens is in that pivotal moment, everything gets disorganized. Everything becomes uncomfortable. Everything becomes unfamiliar, and your mind and brain freak the fuck out. Because if you are trying to become a new state of being, everything has to be new. That is terrifying. So it does appear like a mind fuck. It's like my fucked up recognizes your fucked up and says, let's get fucked up together. And that's the craziness about this river of change moment. But if I don't react to that river of change moment and I just breathe through it, because I've been practicing catching myself in my tiny little mindfuck moments and my tiny little reactions, self-soothing, telling myself, keeping my eye on prize, being that bullet train through all of it. I just keep self-soothing through these river of change moments. I don't have to go back to the old way of being. I can get to the new state of being. And what happens is it's an electromagnetic field that comes outside of me. So I use my energy to create a new state of being. My environment starts to reflect the I am within myself. Because I go through the discomfort to get to where I want to be, I'm claiming my worthiness, I'm claiming my lovability, I am claiming my self-love and self-respect and connection to myself. I am not letting my mind, my body, my environment, or even time dictate to me who I'm going to be. I am choosing who I'm going to be through all the discomforts all the time. And here's the thing, Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he got the light bulb. Okay? He would practice self-hypnosis with a little dish, a little teacup on his little dish, and go into self-hypnosis, and every time he would fall asleep, that teacup would fall, and he hypnotized himself to get to where he wanted to get. He had his eye on the prize. He had to fail 10,000 times. I don't even know how many times I failed before I figured it the fuck out. But you have to keep practicing, and I got help. And I don't think I could have been where I am today without the help. I know I couldn't be where I am today without the help of my own hypnotherapist. And that's what we need. We need to get help to help us become aware of when we're in that mind fuck, to reach out to people and say, hey, I'm not okay. I need help. And to recognize, what are our triggers? What does that sabotage look like? Because that mind fuck is such a distortion. I'm distorting who I am and how I see the world outside of me. But if I can have somebody objectively looking at me, helping me cross that river, change. We can get through the fire swamp. We can change our entire reality. I did it, and so can you. And it's so worth it, but you have to be in the practice. You have to keep going. Failure is a trickster. It fucks us up right before we're about to succeed. On the precipice of your fear, of your anger, of your anxiety, of your fuck it moment, right on the other side is everything you desire. You have to keep going. So this video is really about when you feel like giving up, when you feel like there's no point, when you feel like it's too hard, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Focus on the little nuggets that are in front of you. Focus on one foot in front of the other. Be of integrity. Focus your mind on the prize and reach out for help. You can cross this river of change. You can create the life you want. Success is inevitable as long as you keep going, okay? And if you want help, please feel free to reach out to me. Check out my other videos. I would love to support you on your own personal river of change. Thank you so much for watching. Much love, everybody.